Welcome to Gloria's Gab Live. I have with me today Brandon Diaz, who is with the city of South Miami. He is the, communications and marketing manager. And before we start talking, and thank you for coming, by the way.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Want to thank South Florida PBS, our sponsor week after week. And look what they've got here. They're on the back cover of Inspire Health magazine. And The World of Olive Oil is a new series that's coming back up on South Florida PBS. And it's a fun one, aside from all the other good stuff that they have week after week. And if you see these magazines,
yep, they look amazing.
You get those too?
Yes, we do.
Yes. If you're a member, you get one of these beautiful magazines once a month. It tells you everything that's happening. And there's so much to do on South Florida PBS. You probably wouldn't have to watch any other station if you if you so choose. So, Brandon, you and I met at Casa Cuba at our event, and I couldn't believe somebody said, "Oh." I was telling him, I said, I always need news from South Miami. And recently, I got all this great stuff. They said, well, you need to talk to Brandon. He's the one that's doing all that.
I appreciate that. And we reconnected at the GMFEA event at their conference. And it was great to see you there too. And, and I really appreciate that feedback, right? Communications and marketing is at the forefront now of South Miami, thanks to, our city manager's office and our current elected officials. It's really about being proactive rather than being reactive.
Well, and I know that South Miami is always doing good stuff. It's just that nobody ever knew about it.
Yeah, definitely. No,
and the way you've been promoting it has been terrific. Do you have a newsletter?
Yeah, so we actually have, I call it an omni-channel approach. So we have multiple touch points on how we educate and promote, different events, initiatives the city's doing. So I would say there's 3 target audiences that we have. Number 1 is the residents, right? Mm-hmm. Number 2 is our business owners, and number 3 is our visitors, right? And going back to the omni-channel approach, as you mentioned, yes, we have our SOMI Insider email newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. Yeah. We have our SOMI Business newsletter that goes out once a month that educate our businesses and specific business initiatives, et cetera, updates for our businesses. Wow. We obviously have our social media channels, which with the about 2 years that I've been with the city, we've grown it about 3 times, 4 times in terms of followers. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. Pretty much any channel you can find us next door, etc. Right. And then going even further to that, we also, we operate, like I mentioned, on a channel called Nextdoor, which is very geo-targeted. Right. To the residents, we just redid our city website. So our city website, give or take, hadn't been updated in about 10 years, 12 years.
I know. And that was the other thing.
Yeah, we got a massive revamp. And then we also did update our new SOMI Connect app. So it's an app that residents and visitors and everybody can download on Apple or Google Play. Right. And it's an all-in-one resource, right? So imagine having the city website at your fingertips where you can submit service requests, find out about our businesses, and find out anything from events to all city initiatives right at your fingertips on the App Store.
So, I wrote Gloria's Gab Live. Gloria's Gab, the column in South Miami, I've been writing it since 2000, something like that. But I'm always like, come on, South Miami, send me stuff. What are you guys doing? And what nonprofits are doing. So if, and for our viewers, anybody that's doing stuff in South Miami, whether if it's got a nonprofit intent, typically I'm writing about people doing good work or making a positive influence. So if you're out there, you can send it to gloria@cnews.net, and I'm happy to promote your work for you. So. Amazing. But I was so excited. So tell me a little bit about your background, because we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you a little background. So I'm a Hialeah, Miami-Dade kid. Grew up in Northwest Miami-Dade County.
See, I told you this was going to happen.
That's what we're talking about right there.
And it's probably my sponsor again.
Hopefully it's not this time, right?
No, I can't figure out how to turn. I need a whole session on Apple Watch. No, it's Apple Watch that I need the problem.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I should leave it in the other room. So tell me.
So I'm a kid that grew up in Hialeah, Miami Lakes, which is Northwest Miami-Dade County. I got my start in marketing. I worked in the town of Miami Lakes when I first started marketing as an intern, worked my way up full time there. And then had the opportunity to work for former state senator, current county commissioner, Rene Garcia for about a year, give or take.
I love Rene.
And then, which was a great experience for me in the, political PR, political communications. I got a great experience with him. And then fast forward, I worked for a digital marketing agency for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And then this opportunity in South Miami opened up, and I'm so grateful to have gotten the opportunity to come to work in South Miami.
Lucky them.
No, I appreciate that, Gloria. Thank you. Really.
Oh my gosh. So you work for Rene Garcia?
Yes, I worked for him for about a year, give or take.
So you know about a safe haven for newborns?
Yes, of course. That's one of his baby projects.
Well, I'm an ambassador for them. Yeah, so we have, we've probably crossed paths before, and we didn't realize it. Yep. Right.
Miami's a small world. Everybody thinks Miami's big, but Miami's a really small world.
So small. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So now, what do you have plans for South Miami? What's coming up in the next couple of weeks that we need to know about?
So a big thing that's coming up in South Miami immediately right now, it's actually ongoing as we speak, is the Taste of SoMe. So we have this kind of spin on Miami Spice.
Right.
So it's an initiative led by our community affairs team.
Yeah.
That they brought forward. Chef Michael Altman from Kitchen 57 brought the idea forward.
Yeah, Michael, I know him.
And we're partnering with yourselves and Miami Community Newspaper, Chamber South, John Edward Smith from SoMe Magazine. So we have a couple of different partners helping us, the Greater Miami Visitors Bureau promoting this.
Yeah.
Imagine a twist on Miami Spice, right? So you have your traditional, fixed menus, right? Breakfast, brunch, lunch, and dinner. And then discounts from your non-traditional restaurants, which is like your takeout restaurants. And then you also have a Taste of SoMe, the retail edition and service business edition. So every week's a different theme in the month of July. So from July 1st to July 31st, it's a different theme every single week. And the retailers are part of it. So it's not just a restaurant only, right? It's a full encompassing Taste of South Miami, whether it's culinary, retail, or service-based. The idea is really to drive that economic development here in South Miami, which is one of the slowest months of the year, which is July, right? Because everybody's on vacation, they're with their kids. The idea is really to continue driving that foot traffic to our businesses here in South Miami, which is the initiative that we're pushing now all the way to the end of July.
Okay, so every week, let's start with the retailers. Every week, they have a different theme. So what's the theme this week? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I mean, there's a couple of themes, but there's a couple of themes that we have. So I'll just give you a quick example. So we have like the week 1 was BOGOs and special deals. Week 2 is like Taste of Summer. So there's different themes. If you go to our city website, we have all those things.
Actually, we could probably do that online.
Yeah, definitely. So if you go to our city website,
we'll give Alex something to do.
So it's southmiamifl.gov, and then we have a pop-up that actually should present itself right on the homepage of the website, which will take you to the Taste of SoMe landing page. And the idea with this is really to make it as simple as possible for anybody that wants to learn about the Taste of South Miami. Like I mentioned earlier, and we have the app as well. And the app has the business directory, which links directly to the Taste of SoMe.
Okay. And do you have to make reservations for certain restaurants, and that tells you everything? So
the special is on a per restaurant basis or a per business basis. And the way they have it is the menus runs the entire month. And obviously, depending on the restaurant, right? Some restaurants require reservations, some restaurants don't. So if you look at the city website, right there, if you want to click that flyer,
click onto restaurants.
There you go. So you have the Taste of SoMe. So what we did was we created an interactive directory. I apologize. And that directory has, so if you go to Calamillor right there, you see that. And if you scroll down to the directory, you see all their specials. Keep scrolling. And you have all their specials right there in the media gallery. So every single business that's participating in the Taste of SoMe, our community affairs team worked really hard on providing these menus to the businesses to make sure that branding is consistent and make sure that Taste of SoMe, and also our SoMe District branding, which is the new name for the downtown of South Miami, which is SoMe District, which is one of the big launches that we have now going on with the Taste of SoMe. So that's Sunset? All of the area of downtown South Miami, so pretty much from 62nd Avenue by City Hall all the way to Red Road, which takes across US 1. That is now the SoMe District, which is an initiative led by our mayor, our commissioners, and we went through a whole rebranding committee. We had this was a very long process that it went through, and the Taste of SoMe is a part of that overall launch for the SoMe District. That's why you see the branding on all the menus and all the specials.
Right,
we want to keep that
I
consistent.
Do. It's great branding. Yeah. So Brandon does a great branding. I love it.
I appreciate that. Our team is great in South Miami. We really do. We have a great team, and everybody works together and works really hard to deliver the best, like I said, for our residents, visitors, and for our business owners. Yeah, it's so great to see this happening, and the retail portion of it. It's wonderful that you've included them in the mix. Yeah, because they the small businesses often get overlooked. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that, Miami Spice is a great initiative that's led countywide. We didn't want the retailers to feel left out, right? When this idea was brought forward by Chef Altman, right? We had the first initial meeting with everyone, and that was an idea that was brought up. Is like, hey, let's include our retailers. That way, everybody's busy for the month of July, and we promote everybody, right? Everybody, all the businesses feel included, and nobody's left out.
Yeah, that's great. So, of your favorite restaurants, are you allowed to say?
I think they're all great. How about that?
I know.
I think they're all great. I'm going to take my wife to a couple of them. There's Cala Mayor. There's
Cala Mayor. Where is that?
That's where the old pharmacy used to be at on Bird Road in the corner. That's right in the edge of Coral Gables in South Miami.
It's Allen's Drugs.
Yes, that is correct.
For the longest time, I couldn't figure out what it was. I said, "Is it a store?" It doesn't, and it's hard to read.
Yeah, it's got the cursive language.
Is it Casa? Is it Cala?
It's Cala Mayor. So they're actually a Spanish family from Madrid. They're very iconic in the bakery business and the restaurant business in Madrid.
Oh, so now what do they sell there? Because I haven't gone in yet, but
so they have a cool mix of they have a whole bakery section. They have traditional Spanish goods in there as well, like a little market, and they have a full restaurant that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yep.
I have to try that one out.
It's pretty amazing. We have a bunch
but
of
I didn't
staples.
realize that was South Miami still.
Right in the edge of South Miami. So that's right in the corner. And that's an area of South Miami that we try to show love to because they're kind of far away from our downtown, especially that specific shopping center, all the businesses in there. So I'm glad that they're a part of the Taste of Somi. Yeah. You know, we obviously have staples like Old Lisbon and a couple other, traditional places that have been here for a very long time in South Miami. So the idea is... Yeah, the idea is really to encompass everyone.
But it's not town anymore. It's Kitchen 305?
Kitchen 57.
Kitchen 57. I knew it was something like that.
Chef Altman was actually, I know he was a part of the town team. He was actually
I know
part
he
of the town team, yeah.
No, I've known him for a long time.
Yeah. He's a great asset to have in South Miami. We appreciate him bringing this idea forward to the city.
Chef. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, So, and the retailers, who sticks out? Is there anybody that's been like a leader, kind of pulling the retailers together? They used to have, didn't they have a retail association or something for South Miami?
I know, Ed Bowens from Lanes kind of gave me the backstory, and we used to have this Red Merchants Association many years ago.
That was what it was called. Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the city is really stepping up and supporting, not just on the communications side, but specifically also like community affairs, right? We're really supporting our businesses. The idea is really to change the mindset of what I tell everybody all the time. It's really a giant PR lift, right? Everybody thinks South Miami is dead. Well, it's not necessarily dead. Sunset Place may be getting completely redone, right? But that doesn't mean the rest of our retails, our shops, our restaurants are dead. We have a very thriving downtown area that's what we're really pushing for now with the Taste of Somi, is to showcase that, right? Like we have great shops, we have great restaurants, we have a great downtown area that people think is dead just because of Sunset Place, and there's a lot to come, especially when that whole Sunset Place gets redone, and it's gonna be a very bright future for South Miami.
Yeah, and how is if somebody's going there for the first time? If they can't find street parking, I know you have parking garages that we use for our Casa Cuba events. So how many parking garages do you have, and how do you, if you get a lot of people, like oh my gosh, Rotary Club does their art festival?
Yep.
Which is like one of the highlights of the year.
Amazing event.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Event.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you asked me that question, because I think the two big pillars, as the communications and marketing manager of the city, the two big battles that I'm dealing with on a PR perspective is, right, the number one is that the businesses and our downtown area is dead in terms of like foot traffic is not really busy. That's number one. And number two is parking. Those are the two biggest initiatives that I'm kind of dealing with on the PR side to really promote and tell people, whenever you go to Brickell, whenever you go to Doral, whenever you go to the Grove, every place is the same, right? You have to go there's very few on-street parking, like even the Gables, right? Like in Miracle Mile. I go to dinner there all the time, and if you go to dinner there, it's very hard to find street parking. So what do I have to do? I have to go park in the municipal parking garage. So in the heart of South Miami, right in front of Carrot Express, and right behind Pub 52 and all these great spots in South Miami, you're within walking distance of our entire downtown from our parking garage, right? It's right there in between. It's really in the heart of South Miami, and it's multiple story parking garage that's never full. There's always capacity there. Yeah. And it goes, we have parking all the way to the rooftop, and honestly, the way the parking works there is very simple, right? It's like every other municipality.
What do they charge for parking?
So right now we have one of the most affordable parking rates in the county. Off the top of my head, I don't exactly know the parking the rate exactly, because that kind of fluctuates too. So I don't want to give a specific number and then somebody sees the video like
Right.
6 months, a year down the road from now. But everybody talks about parking enforcement also is like a big issue in South Miami. It's like everywhere else, right? If you go to park somewhere and you don't pay for parking, it's gonna happen. You're gonna get a ticket.
Or if you're a minute late.
Yeah, so we actually have something that's really, really good with, and I kudos to our parking team because everybody talks about, oh, I got a parking ticket. We actually have a grace period of 15 minutes, which is something that's great that the city, that's our parking team is put together, and that's a really big part of that whole initiative of changing the narrative of, I'm gonna go to South Miami and shop and get a ticket. It's like, well, if you don't pay for parking anywhere in Brickell, Coral Gables, that's gonna happen regardless.
Well, I went to a hotel not too long ago in Doral, and they implemented parking, 2 hours for free, and then but you had to give me your credit card. But 2 hours for free. If you were over that, you got charged for the 2 hours plus whatever. So I'm thinking a 15-minute grace period could have saved me almost $10.
And that's a huge thing that I told our parking team. It's something that also on my end on my lift.
I love that, but I think you ought to promote that. Yeah, let people know, hey, we're looking out for you. We're not gonna screw you with 1 minute.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's a part of like certain initiatives that people don't even know that we have as a city. That's a big thing that we've done, especially on social media, right? Promote some of these initiatives that may have been going on for a long time in South Miami, right?
Right.
Like our hurricane parking program, right? That's available for city residents and for people that are monthly pass holders during hurricane times, right? They can subscribe, they can sign up for that program, and they can keep their cars safe in our parking garage. Just to give you a simple example,
that's great.
Many people don't know about that, but we started creating video content on social media. Like to give you an example, for the Taste of Somi, we've done that, right? Mm-hmm. We've done that for some of these initiatives in the city, really to create content. What I mean by content is video graphics that's not traditional from government, because I'm trying to bring really this agency level to the city, right? What I mean by that
you've done it.
And I appreciate that. I really do. And it's been something that it's a team effort. Right, it has to come from the top of the city, because it has to, the initiative has to be seen from the city manager, from our mayor, our commissioners. Our community affairs team works really hard with the residents and the businesses to really continue fostering that. And like I mentioned to you, it's an omni-channel approach, right? Because if I do a good job on social media, but we do a poor job talking to our businesses in person, then the brand looks bad. It's really about the brand as an overall experience. And to give you a quick example, like, we've gotten really good feedback from a lot of our businesses moving to South Miami. They're saying, wow, you guys are operating like a private sector business and making it easier to not make it harder for people to come to South Miami, do business in South Miami, or whatever the case may be, right? Like, even on the communication side, we offer these segments called Somi Spotlights, right?
Yeah,
and
I love that.
The Somi Spotlights are really an initiative that came from our city manager when I first started. He was like, I want to be able to spotlight businesses in South Miami and offer them that free advertising space as part of like initiative and an incentive to be in South Miami and to be a South Miami business. And it's open to everybody, restaurant, retail, etc. Anybody that has a business in South Miami.
So you just take turns highlighting people?
Yeah.
So do they get in a queue or something, or how does that work?
So we have, the way it works is normally, honestly, it's been amazing since we started this. The businesses just automatically either reach out to us directly on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or they email our team directly and they say, hey, we saw XYZ's spotlight. They're 2-3 doors down the road. We want to be up next. So that's kind of how it's worked, where it's just fed itself, right? Whenever we do a business, somebody else in the building is like, hey, I saw them get a spotlight. I want to find out how I can get a spotlight as well. And then we just keep it rolling as we get the requests.
That's great that you keep the interaction going between the retail, because they know that you're invested in them. Yeah,
and the idea really is like how we talked about earlier, is being proactive, not being reactive, right? And continuing pushing our businesses, continuing pushing, because the worst thing that I've heard in government in the past is really that saying of, oh, I didn't know. That was like, when I first started in government many years ago, almost 10 years ago now, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, wow, that was like a saying that got thrown around a lot, right? And Jack, you mentioned now, right, early on the show, is people didn't know South Miami did all these things. So that's kind of a chip on my shoulders to make sure that people don't say, I didn't know. It's more like, wow, I'm seeing the work that South Miami is doing to really showcase to our city manager and to our entire leadership of the city that what we're doing is working, and we want to continue scaling this and making it a best-in-class city. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, you've come a long way in a short period of time. I gotta tell you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So in the fall, what's happening? Any good stuff?
Yeah. So we actually have an event, which I'm not sure if you've heard of it or not, but we actually have this thing called Somi Second Saturdays. So
you know what? I think I read about it in my
newsletter.
And I was going,
the city's newsletter. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have this event. It's pretty cool. So it's kind of like an activation. It's an activation that happens every single month. It's the second Saturday of the month. We took the summer off because, as we all know, the summer is very hot. And it's an outdoor event that's kind of like, imagine a street party, right? Where vendors come out, live music. It's really to continue that messaging of bringing people to South Miami and keeping our businesses and our downtown area busy. And it starts up in October again. So it starts up in October, runs all the way through April. And that's kind of the concept that we have as part of activating the downtown area, apart from the Taste of Somi. That's an initiative that's coming up. Yeah, amongst all the other events, right? We have a great Halloween event that takes place every year. So.
Oh yeah. So do you have the plans for Halloween yet?
Yeah. So it's our annual event that takes place right on Sunset Drive. It's one of our biggest events. You have July 4th that just passed. Right. That's a huge event. And then the Halloween event is a huge event. We pretty much get, US 1 all the way to Red Road. And that's closed down for our annual Halloween event, which attracts people from all over the county.
Is that right? So what happens? So we have a parade. Do we have a contest? What's going on?
So it's a great event.
I've never done it.
So it's
I'm always home.
No, it's a great event. Our police department does a heavy lift on putting that event together. It's kind of like their baby. Our public works team does too as well. Imagine a bunch of activations for the kids, candy, bounce houses, anything and everything you can think of down Sunset Drive, sponsors, vendors. It's amazing. It's great to see the kids come out and have a good time. And
I have to check that out this year.
We'd love to see you there.
There's a lot of stuff happening. Oh, Voices for Children has their big luncheon that day too.
Yep.
So I'm already in costume.
That's awesome. Right on theme, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever done that one?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't.
Yeah, they have a heroes theme, so people come dressed as different heroes.
It's definitely unique, to say the least.
Yeah, but it ensures that I'm always dressed for Halloween. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, yeah. And so do you do anything with pets?
We actually do. So quick shout out to Miami-Dade Animal Services. They actually connected with us, I want to say about a month ago, give or take. And we started this initiative called Somi Pets of the Week, right?
Really?
And some people may not see it because you know how busy US 1 is, but we actually have a Petco right in South Miami on US 1. And the county has a adoption center in the Petco. So it's like a not a remote, but like a satellite office for them.
Really?
And they have dogs, cats that are available for adoption. And the Miami-Dade Animal Services team connected with us, and I got with them, and I'm like, let's launch, you guys do the Pets of the Week already at the county level. Let's launch Somi Pets of the Week. And we have that going out on social media, on our email newsletter.
That's so cute.
So it's really just driving the awareness of the pets that are available for adoption and to help them help our furry friends find their forever home.
Yeah, we had a bunch of them here the other day. What was it, last week? A couple of weeks ago? I don't know. I was gone for a week, so. But yeah, we had like 5 animals here for a big mixer. Were you here at that one?
I wasn't here actually. No.
Something you missed? What? Yeah. No. So yeah, they're great though. They do
really are.
And the other one is Paws for You. If you can get a connection with them, they're another great rescue organization. Great. Yeah.
They really are.
So. And they usually do well. They have their they usually have a big event right around Halloween.
Yeah, you actually went to their event last year.
Halloween.
That's it.
Yeah,
I went last year. I had just rescued a golden retriever.
No, really?
It's called the Golden Rescue of South Florida, and we actually went. My wife and I went, and we dressed up, and she was.
Did you really?
Yeah, she was my golden. She was dressed up as like a little shark, and we actually won one of their categories.
I should. Well, they asked me to be a judge, but I couldn't because I had a conflict. But I've judged that several years.
That's a super cool.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
It really is a nice event, and
I love it when people like you though come as a team. Yeah, people don't understand that, when
my wife was a lifeguard, I was the one that was attacked, and my golden was the little shark. So it was so cute.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's amazing how many people come out for that.
Yeah, it really is.
And the parade in the Banyan Bowl. Is that where they did it, right?
Yeah.
The Banyan Bowl. Yeah. So good times.
Definitely.
So, and they have a major fundraiser once a year too.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Did you go to that?
I haven't been to that one. No, I just went to that one event so far.
Yeah. So, well, before you know it, you have to plan for next year already. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Things get so busy with so many events that by the time it's like, I can't believe it. You blink and we're already in July, right?
I know.
And it's been 2 years now almost that I've been with the city practically, and I'm like,
it doesn't feel like it does.
Go?
No,
it's nonstop, and as you go with so many events and so many initiatives and so many things going on, personally too, in your personal life, by the time you blink, you're like, wow, it's been 2 years almost.
Well, and that's the thing, because you're in the business of doing events and you've got things going on all the time. You're going from one thing to another, and where did the week go?
Yeah.
Where'd the month go?
And it's really interesting because South Miami as a city, right? And I kind of steal this tagline from our city manager. He's using this language, and we all kind of pushed it citywide. Is we want to become a best-in-class city, right?
That's good.
And what he means by that is really, and looking at it from the communications perspective, right? To compare us to other cities, right? I say, we're a small city that delivers big city services, right? We have a public works team that does bulk pickup, does garbage. Cities our size don't normally do that, right? We do our own landscaping. So, and not only just that, but we have our own police department as well, and we have an exceptional police force in South Miami and the entire department.
It's pretty amazing. How much. You're right, because everybody else is outsourcing.
Yeah. And not just
they're
that,
letting
but
the county have it or whatever.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting on the communication side because I've worked in other governments before, and a lot of this stuff's contracted out, right?
Yeah.
So when I came to South Miami, it was an eye opener for me. I'm like, what do you mean we have our own landscape? Our team does landscaping. Oh, we have our own garbage trucks. Wow, we do bulk pickup, and then we have our police department, right? Everything's in house. So to have the opportunity to work with all these different departments, but it's not just departments, it's actually being in-house, has been a great experience because on my end, right, communications can be anywhere. Like we were talking about the Taste of Somi, right? And then you blink and then there's a pothole that a public works director is calling me for, so we have to put out a notice for that. Or there's an emergency situation with our police chief, right? I get a call on a Saturday from Chief Hatfield, and I know I'm gonna have to put something out. Or the city manager calls me on a weekend, and our public works team, our police team, everybody's been great. Our parks team is great in terms of all working together, right? Because it's not about being in silos, it's about really the city brand, and everybody is a part of the brand, and how we communicate that is essential, right? Because I need to know Parks does a great job of communicating with public works, police. I say those three departments is really like the big forward-facing departments. Everybody else is very important. I mean, look at the example of our local business tax receipt officer, Hector Rabi. He's been in the city for 30 years. He has a great relationship with all the businesses, but that's all one piece of the puzzle to the overall Somi brand, which is the city brand, right? And everybody has to play a role in that, because if one person doesn't, it affects the brand as a whole. So.
You are an amazing spokesperson for South Miami.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
But it's obviously something you're passionate about, and isn't it fun to have a job that you're so passionate about?
It really is, and it's really rewarding, because to me, like, one of the things that really impacted me was, having business owners tell us thank you, right, for what we're doing, and we just tell them this is what we do, and hopefully we can continue making you proud, whether it's a business owner, whether it's a visitor to the city. Like I mentioned, we're trying to push the city, not just for residents and businesses, but the visitors, right? Continue driving that foot traffic to our businesses. Like the GMCVB really worked closely with us for the Taste of Somi, and I really appreciate that. And amongst, Chamber South and a bunch of different, the idea really is not just for us to be forward facing on the communication internally on the city side, but for us to really partner with people like yourselves, Miami Community News, to continue pushing the message across the greater Miami area, so that people know South Miami and the brand, and as it is overall.
And of course, we're South Miami.
You guys
are so we're located. We are
you guys
the
are
heart
right
of
here
South
in South Miami.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. So everything you're doing is greatly appreciated by everybody that works here, and beyond, obviously. So our time is almost up. So parting words, anything you can push out right now, tell everybody.
So I want to leave on a last message is just we want everybody to engage with us, whether it's on social media, whether it's on our email newsletter, our city website, our Somi Connect app that we have on Google App Store or Play Store and the Apple Store. Really engage with the city on social. Send us ideas, right? If you have any ideas that you have for the city, send it over our way, and stay connected with the city. And we look forward to continue driving the communications and marketing.
And we've got that underline coming.
That is
so
huge.
That's a whole nother thing.
That is really huge. We just have to
come back. You have to come back.
Yep.
And we'll talk more when that's implemented.
Thank
right?
you for having me, Gloria. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming. It's such a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for all you're doing for South Miami, making us aware of everything that's going on. That's so wonderful. And thanks, South Florida PBS, once again. The world of olive oil. Don't miss that on South Florida PBS. This is the latest thing coming out. And have a good week.
Until next time.
Until next time.
There we go.
Make a difference.